let's talk about your board setup. How about that?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
are you crazy with your board setup, or are you very meticulous, or not so? You're just whatever.
Can we ask Jeron about his board setup? I want to know tight trucks, loose trucks, Jeron.
I'm in between loose and tight, so it's like in the happy medium that works for me. I don't really
by today's standards, they're very tight then.
Yeah, compared to everybody else for sure.
But they're not like rock solid.
But they're
you can turn. You can turn.
I can turn.
Yeah,
I can definitely turn. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah, I can't do the. Was it Chris Cole? Yeah, Chris Cole. Where his just fucking tight as shit.
Right.
And loose in the front so he can guide himself. I remember like.
Yeah, I like mine kind of fast and loose, but it's my board. I don't really care.
You don't care? Well, like what size do you ride?
I think it's about an 8.5. It could be maybe now people are calling like 8.38. I don't know. I've never actually measured it. It's just a skateboard to me. As long as it works, I'm pretty happy. Like. Do
you like what kind of boards are you riding? Or you just kind of grab whatever? Or
so right now, because after the dog just came. So I'm petting this invisible thing over here. It's actually the dog. I've been on some welcome boards lately, and those are pretty cool.
Sick.
And those are fucked up shapes. I mean, crazy.
Yeah.
If you told me I was gonna ride some fucking thing before, I don't know what that sound effect was, but you know what they're talking.
Yes.
Yeah. They have
Yeah.
so many different shapes. It's wild. Yeah.
And it's not like the 91, John Montesi shape or something. Or it's not like the Jason Lee or the 89 Gons. It's like some fucking weird shit.
Yeah. Sure.
It's different,
It's kind of fun because then you're like, I gotta like figure out how to ride this thing too. That makes skateboarding fun because I rode the same board shape for, I don't know, like 18 years or something.
Right.
It's like, yeah, give me that. Yeah, that one works, whatever. And as far as like tires go, or I still call them tires, 2 years later, it's still the same. I could ride whatever. They could be 52 to 57.
Okay.
But I think when I get back into skating after this, I've been thinking about it. I'm like, okay, because it's going to be 6 months off the board. I'm like, do I want to go for like one of those like early 90s shapes with some big tires, like something that just looks really cool? Or I'm like, I kind of want to try to maybe go down a size even, maybe try like an 8-inch with like some riser pads and like some 60 millimeter tires.
Wow.
I don't know why. I want some narrow trucks too. I don't want the wide ones. I want like.
But on a big board?
On an 8.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to do something where I'm like, man, skateboarding feels so terrible and so awful right now because I'm going to feel so bad at skating anyways after not doing it for a few months. It might be fun just to have it,
Yeah, at that point, it doesn't matter. As long as you can just roll at the beginning part, it's all that matters.
Yeah, change the whole way you look at it. Like, I'm going to try something different. Let's see how this works.
I mean, just asking this question on this show, I've come to discover kind of like all the seasoned veterans, so to speak. They don't care anymore about their board. Like everybody was so meticulous. Like when you were filming for like Cataclysmic Abyss and all this, like you probably had to have your setup, a certain way. And now everybody's like, oh, I do. Jamie Thomas is doing grip tape jobs and stuff. I'm like, really, Chief? You're going to do grip tape jobs? Okay. Crazy.
It's not going to waste my time with, grip tape jobs. Boards break fast usually. It's just like,
right. But what I'm saying is, though, he's taking the time to set up his board the way that he's going to enjoy it now. Yeah. And it's not the Jamie Thomas of old.
It's the passion behind the passion.
It's the passion behind the passion. We got that. You already know.
You already know.
So during those days, I rode like an 8.5-inch board.
Okay.
I like a very square nose. I call it the shovel nose. It was like my own custom shape that I was able to design for them. And they didn't sell it because it was considered too weird of a shape for skate shops because it's 8.5 inches. And so they put all my boards on like 7.5, 7.75s because that was selling at 2002 and up. And these skate shops were like, we don't want this board because it had a very old school type shaped nose. I don't do much nollie, as we know. Like I was like, why do I need a normal nose? Okay. I like it very square and blunt. It just looked cool to me. And then I liked a tapered tail. And then as soon as they stopped making it, I was like, all right, whatever. I was like, can I get you guys to make it again? And they're like, oh, we lost the mold or something. I was like, okay, whatever. And then so I moved on to something else, but I don't like concave too much. That's the only complaint I have. I think boards are kind of fun when they're flat, and I like them when they kind of feel soggy and kind of shitty, to tell you the truth.
Interesting.
When they're crispy, they break real fast, at least for me, being a bit bigger. So when they're soggy, they already feel like shit, so who cares? You know, like they absorb stuff better.
Absorb the impacts better, huh?
Yeah, and I just like an old board, just like old wheels, all that stuff is nice to me. Like, the truck I have on, I'm probably like a year and a half old. The same Bone Swiss I've had on for probably like 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Because they still work.
They still work. I mean, yeah.
I don't focus boards. You know, I've only focused maybe 2 handfuls of them. So like maybe 9 or 10 boards, I think. And when I focused one, I can remember like 2 years ago, I remember being upset and like, fuck, that was like number 9. Because like, why would you take your anger out on your skateboard? This thing does nothing but gives you, you know, fun all day long. And now you're going to break it when there's like somebody else. Imagine if you were a kid, if JT Alt saw Jeron focus that board instead of him giving it to him.
I mean, that's true.
26 years later, he'd go, Jeron Wilson, that guy was a fucking dick. Even though Jeron's not a dick, but you would take it that way, and be like, I could have used that skateboard.
That could have changed his direction of where he skated too. He could have like maybe he might have never skated, you know?
Totally.
And he might have just given up on it. I don't know.
He already had the drive.
I totally see that.
I could definitely see that as well.
Yeah.
For sure.
But when you're in that moment, you don't even know what to do. You're like, you want to break your board, but you don't, and you're like, what do you do with your anger? You know, like that's why I find it hilarious that someone throws their board so hard into the ground, because it's like, what are you trying to get rid of here?
And I used to have a temper, Corey. I used to have a temper. I would break boards, throw boards, and then I would see other people do it, and I'm like, ooh, that's what I look like?
Yeah.
Like, ooh, that's not a good look. Yeah. Not a good look.
I've melted down like that quite a few times.
But it happens, right?
Cataclysm for this too. I'm tomahawking my board and I break a spot with it too. And it's one of the only times I'm angry on film, and you know, people think it's cool or whatever. And it does probably look cool, but I'm like, I wasn't even that mad. It was more I was just annoyed because I was like, this fucking stupid. It was like a frontside water, and I'm like, this thing is not working. Fuck this spot. And I broke the spot without thinking of it, and then it sucks because then now the spot's broken for everybody else.
Yeah. How'd you break the spot?
I just, grab the...
Oh, shit.
Tomahawk.
Okay.
It's in the intro of the movie, and it's just... I mean, maybe it's funny or cool to somebody, but, there's some clips you look back at, and the ones like everyone likes, you're like, man, that sucks.
But as you said before, we're our own worst critic, too, when it comes to that stuff.